Alright, what I'm doing today is I am taking audio from an audio recorder and also taking my footage from the camera. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this down into my timeline. Alright, and for this I'm just going to keep everything neat and tidy. I'm just going to put it in the sync bin right now. Okay, so there I am, talking about audio recorders. 3, 2, 1. This is a... There we go. And now I pretty much just stop right there with, my eyes pretty much half closed. So I'm going to come up to timeline. I'm also going to add dual mono. Alright. Simply because, again, when it comes to the audio tracks, I prefer working with dual mono. It just makes things a little bit easier. I'm going to take my audio. I'm going to bring my audio down from my audio recorder. All right, and I can already tell that it's out of sync. All right. What I want to try now, and I don't even know if it will actually work, is I want to see if, when I select this, if I can use one of the tools that I found inside Avid. I don't know if it necessarily will work, but hey, you never know. So what I'm looking for is waveform sync. No video. All right, how about this? How about I take all of that and I shift that. Now how about if I go to the timeline and I go to waveform sync, and I believe that put everything into order. 2, 1. Indeed it did. This is a test. This is a test to see. All right, I'm going to stop it right there because, my voice bothers me. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to audio data and I'm going to go to volume. All right, so that way if I need to, I can actually make the choice. I can put keyframes inside the audio and I can raise and lower audio. So right now I have everything in sync, and what I want to do is just walk through very quickly how to take all of this. I mean, you'll notice that I didn't have any ins and outs when I just dragged everything into the timeline. How I'm basically going to bring all of that into a master using the ins and outs that I'm going to use now in my untitled sequence. And this I'm going to call sync. Sync timeline. Alright. So that way, like I said, I can put the ins and outs on the sync timeline, and then I'm going to create subclips. And then from there, I'm going to create a master sequence, and I'm going to show you how to all do that. But this is also why marking in and out would be very important, rather than just like clipping away. What I want to do is I want to be able to sync the audio and the video using Avid. Okay, so let's go back. What I want to do is what I'm using right now is I'm using J, K, and L. K is stop, and this is on the keyboard. L allows you to play. J rewinds. So what I want to do is I want to get to the very beginning of my sentence here. And the other thing I'm going to do, just to make things a little bit easier for me, I'm going to expand so that way I can see where things are going on in terms of the waveform. So that looks good. All right, so I'm going to hit E or I can hit I. E is mark in. Now I'm going to let it play. I'm going to hit L. What I want to do is I want to be able to sync the audio and the video using Avid. And I'm going to stop right there. All right, I hit K. I'm going to hit R. All right. So now I have this section that has my video, A1, A2, A3, and A4 selected. So just to make things easy, all right, I am going to take the create subsequence and I am going to drag this into my sync bin. All right. So here it is. All right. So that way I don't get completely confused, I am going to call this intro 1 sync. All right. So that is intro 1, and this is all going to make sense in just a little bit, so please bear with me. So I am going to hit G on my keyboard, which is going to clear my ins and outs, provided that I actually select the composer. All right. Hit L again. And then from there, basically create. So I want to take the first part of this, but not the other part, because I don't like the ums. And then from there, I'm going to take it from there. Again, I'm going to expand this so that way I am sure that I'm taking it at the very beginning of the waveform. I want to take it from the valley. I don't want to take it from the peak. So this is lined up so that way it's right before the waveform, right before the peak. So it's in the valley, which is safe. And I'll talk about that in just a moment. I'm going to mark in, let it play. From there, basically. I don't need basically. And now I'm going to hit R. Alright. Do the same thing as I did the other one. Intro 2 sync. Okay. Come down to my timeline, hit G, let it play. Basically create. I want create. Basically right there. Mark in. Let it play. Create. I hate that. I do too many ums. So I'm going to hit R. Intro 3 sync. Okay. Come back down to the timeline. Hit G, so that way it clears my ins and outs. A master sequence. A master Simon. I'm at Simon. I'm going to take it from there. A master sequence. I'm going to let it go a little bit more as my eyes are closed. A little bit back. There we go. So that way I'm looking off into I don't know what. So I bring this down. Intro 4 sync. Alright, so again I select it. Okay. So now I've got all of this stuff here. It's beginning to look a little bit crazy. But that's alright, because I know that intro 1, intro 2, intro 3, and intro 4 are subsequences that I'm going to put into a master. Okay? So I'm going to select my sync bin in this particular case. I am going to hit timeline and I am going to create a new sequence. And I'm going to call this Sync Master. Okay. So now Sync Master is up. Double click on that so I know that I'm there. Now I can take intro 1. Make sure that I'm at the very end of the clip without it like bouncing back on me. Intro 2, I can bring down. Okay. I want to make sure that actually took because I'm having a feeling it didn't. Alright, so I'm at the very end. Grab this again. There we go. It's not doing what I want it to do, but that's me. It's not the program. There we go. Okay, so oh, wait a second. I know what happened. That's where I need to be. I can't very well bring something in if it's already inside of the file. So now I can bring in the second part. Yay. Okay. And it's funny because it's doing this because, you know, it can. So what I'm going to do is I am going to make sure that I have the splice in enabled. Now when I grab 2, I drag it in, it actually does what I want it to do. So now I've got that, I've got that. I'm going to grab 3. 3 is also coming in at the very end. Okay. And I'm also checking to make sure that I don't have like artifacts. All right. And now I'm going to bring in number 4. Okay. So this is going to look really, really janky. What I want to do is I want to be able to sync the audio and the video using Avid. From there, create a master sequence. Okay, so it looks a little janky. So what I'm going to do in order to try to remedy this is I am going to use soft dissolves, but I'm only going to use the soft dissolves on the video track. Okay. I just want a very, very short transition to sort of kind of soften that up so that way it doesn't look so jarring. You can tell it's still a transition, but it should make it look a little bit softer, a little less obvious. So now that we come back, let's see what that looks like. From there, create. Go back. Avid. From there. Yeah, that works. And then what I'll do is I'll bring it back to right here. We're going to do the same thing again. We're going to do the soft dissolve. I'm using 6 frames. I may have to change that. We'll see how that looks. From there, create. Yeah, that looks okay. Come to here. This is going to be really weird because I have different things going on with my my mouth at this point in time. So I'm going to add and render. I want to see what this looks like. Bring it back, let it play. Be able to sync the audio and the video using Avid. From there, create a master sequence. That doesn't look too bad. All right, that's passable. All right, but it's not a hard cut. It's what they would call a soft cut or a soft dissolve. All right, and that's pretty much how you would do the. Oh wow, I just thought for a second that this wasn't recording. Thankfully it is. That's how you pretty much sync video. All right, sync your video and your audio and bring it into a master sequence.